All right, so you ready to dive into some serious legal drama with me today?
Always.
Okay, good. So we are talking about Sean Diddy Combs. And let me tell you, the mountain of charges he's facing is, well, it's a lot.
It is.
Buckle up, because this deep dive is going to be, well, kind of wild.
It really is. I mean, what's so captivating about this case is the sheer scope of it, you know? We're looking at allegations of racketeering conspiracy,
Whoa.
sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Because Diddy's facing over 24 sexual assault accusations, too, and those are in civil lawsuits on top of all that.
It's mind-blowing. Seriously, mind-blowing. And then on top of that, to make things even more intense, Diddy's been denied bail.
I know.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
3 times. And it's, you know, the judges are clearly concerned about, you know, the potential for witness tampering. I mean, Diddy's influence and resources are substantial.
Right.
They're not taking any chances. It's a pretty clear indication of how seriously the justice system is taking these allegations, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And let's not forget where Diddy's currently spending his days. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. You've been there.
I have not.
And not exactly, it's no luxury suite, let's put it that way.
Definitely not the kind of accommodations that Diddy is used to. But, you know, this situation does raise a really crucial question, I think. And that is, can someone like Diddy, with his wealth and fame, you know, can he truly receive a fair trial? It's a question that goes, I think, beyond this specific case and speaks to broader concerns about justice and equality in our system.
I think that's a great point. So here's where things get really interesting. Prosecutors are alleging that Diddy's been using the jail's communication system to try and, well, I guess, control the narrative from behind bars. Kind of like, you know, a puppet master.
Yeah, the allegation is that he's been using an app called Contact Misa to text people, and not just anyone, people who aren't on his approved contact list.
Oh.
Right, we're talking potential witnesses, individuals involved in the accusations against him, you know. It's raising some serious red flags.
It is, for sure. And Lisa Bloom, she's the attorney representing one of Diddy's accusers, and she's claimed that her client actually received a call from someone who had over 100 contacts with Diddy from jail, calling her a liar. I mean, 100 calls. That's a lot of calls.
It is. It certainly suggests a pattern of communication that goes beyond casual conversation, right? And, you know, remember, the courts are already concerned about potential witness tampering.
Right.
So this new information is, you know, kind of adding fuel to that fire. It begs the question, is Diddy trying to influence the case from behind bars?
Yeah, it does. And get this, okay? It's also been alleged that Diddy's been orchestrating social media posts from his kids.
Really?
To try and sway public opinion, trying to make himself look better.
Reports even suggest he's been tracking engagement metrics on those posts from jail, like how many likes and shares. If true, you know, it paints a picture of someone deeply invested in managing his public image. Even from a detention center, which, I mean, it really does raise a fascinating question. Is it simply a father trying to protect his legacy, or a calculated attempt to influence potential jurors?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the other side of this legal battle. We have Diddy's lawyers, and they're arguing that, well, he needs to be released in order to properly prepare for his trial, which, by the way, isn't scheduled until May 2025. That's a ways away.
Yeah.
They're also pushing back against the search of his cell, claiming that seized documents, including legal strategy notes, you know, are protected by attorney-client privilege.
This brings up such a vital point about the balance between the right to a fair trial and the need to investigate potential wrongdoing. I mean, it's a classic legal dilemma that goes to the heart of our justice system.
It really is. And it's fascinating to see how this case is playing out on multiple levels, right? We've got the criminal charges, we've got the civil lawsuits, we've got all the legal maneuvering. It's a lot to unpack.
It is. And beyond the legal aspects, there's a larger societal conversation brewing here, right? This case shines a light on the power dynamics within the entertainment industry and how allegations of this magnitude are handled. It makes you wonder, is this an isolated incident or a symptom of a larger problem?
That's a great question and a great point. Lisa Bloom has even stated her belief that other individuals will be charged in this, suggesting a wider conspiracy.
Wow.
She seems to think Diddy may not have acted alone in all of this.
If that's true, it opens up a Pandora's box of potential implications. Who else might be involved? What roles did they play? It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and each layer reveals something new and potentially more disturbing.
It's a scary thought, for sure. And
Yeah.
it's definitely something we need to keep our eyes on as this case unfolds. So we've got this potential network, right? And Lisa Bloom, she didn't mince words. She said she believes others will be charged in this thing.
She was very clear about that.
Yeah?
She said, and I quote, "He didn't do this by himself. He had an operation that people were brought in by others, so he didn't do everything himself."
Wow.
And we think it's very important that not only do predators get brought to justice, but those who conspire with them, who help them, who are complicit.
Whoa. That's a powerful statement. It really suggests a whole system, potentially, that was facilitating these alleged crimes. I mean, that raises the stakes considerably, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. If these accusations are proven true, the impact could extend far beyond Diddy himself.
Right.
We could be looking at a network of enablers, collaborators, and that just shifts the entire landscape of the case.
Totally. It's almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
If Diddy falls, who else might be, caught in the cascade?
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. And we can't forget about the dozens of civil lawsuits that have been filed against Diddy, independent of the criminal charges.
Yeah.
They paint a very troubling picture with allegations that are both serious and disturbing.
We're talking about claims of coercion, abuse, blackmail involving video recordings,
Right.
threats against witnesses, even physical violence.
Yeah.
And some accusations date back to when the alleged victims are underage.
Mm-hmm.
This is heavy stuff.
It is heavy stuff. And, it's important to remember that these are still allegations at this point.
Right.
Diddy has vehemently denied all of them.
Of course.
But, the sheer volume and severity of these accusations can't be ignored. They force us to confront, a very uncomfortable possibility.
They do. And I think it's a lot to process, especially for Diddy's fans.
I would imagine so.
They're having to reconcile these accusations with the image they've held of him for so long.
Right. It's understandable that people might struggle with that. We often build up these public figures in our minds, and it can be really jarring when that image clashes with reality. But this situation does remind us that fame and fortune don't provide immunity from wrongdoing.
True.
Yeah.
So what happens next? The trial isn't until May 2025. That's a long time for this to play out.
It is. And in the meantime, the legal battles will continue.
Yeah.
Diddy's lawyers are fighting hard for his release on bail, while the prosecution is equally determined to keep him behind bars.
It's a high-stakes game of legal chess, and it's anyone's guess who'll come out on top. But one thing's for sure, this case is far from over.
Indeed. The legal battles are just beginning, and the potential fallout for Diddy is enormous. His reputation, his career, his entire business empire, all hanging in the balance.
And we haven't even touched on the impact this could have on the entertainment industry as a whole.
It's true.
This case has the potential to spark a larger conversation about power, accountability, and how allegations are handled in Hollywood.
It's a conversation that's long overdue. We need to address the systemic issues that allow for these situations to occur in the first place.
For sure. Okay, so where do we go from here? What are the key things to watch for as this unfolds?
Well, first and foremost, we'll be watching to see if anyone else is charged in connection with this alleged conspiracy.
Yeah.
Lisa Bloom seems pretty confident that that will happen.
And if it does,
then this case could explode. It could lead to a whole new wave of investigations, accusations.
Right.
Potentially implicating some very powerful people.
That's a chilling thought. It's almost like we said, that domino effect, with Diddy's case being the first to fall.
Exactly. And we'll also be watching closely to see how Diddy's legal team continues to fight back against the charges.
Yeah. They've already challenged the search of his cell and the seizure of documents, claiming attorney-client privilege.
Right.
What else might they have up their sleeves?
Hard to say, but I'm sure they're exploring every legal avenue available to them.
Yeah. Right. And let's not forget about the civil lawsuits. Those are moving forward, independent of the criminal case.
That's right.
And they could have a major impact on Diddy's finances and reputation, regardless of the outcome of the criminal trial.
Right. Those lawsuits could result in significant financial settlements, even if Diddy is acquitted on the criminal charges.
So he's facing pressure from multiple directions. It's like he's caught in a legal whirlwind.
And there's no telling how it will all shake out. This is a complex case with far-reaching implications.
All right. On to part 3 then.
As we've been unpacking all this, there's one aspect of this case that's been particularly intriguing to me.
Yeah, what's caught your eye?
This whole narrative about Diddy as this, mastermind, orchestrating everything from behind bars.
Oh, right, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced that's the whole story.
I see what you mean. We see those headlines about the jailhouse texts and, the whole social media manipulation thing, and it's easy to just jump to conclusions.
Exactly. We have to be careful not to let, the sensationalism overshadow a more nuanced understanding of what's really happening.
So I guess the question is, how do we separate facts from fiction here? I mean, look, as true crime enthusiasts, we want to be captivated by the story.
Of course.
But we have a responsibility to be discerning.
Absolutely. It's about critical thinking. We need to question everything, consider multiple perspectives, and remember that there are always two sides to every story.
That's easier said than done sometimes, especially when the details are so compelling. But you're right, we can't let the drama, cloud our judgment.
Now, look, let's be clear. I'm not dismissing the seriousness of the allegations against Diddy at all. The evidence presented so far is, it's concerning and it needs to be thoroughly investigated. But it's also important to remember that, legally speaking, he is innocent until proven guilty.
And that's where the legal process comes in, right?
Right.
It's designed to ensure a fair trial where all evidence is carefully examined and both sides have the opportunity to present their case.
And that's why, this long wait until May 2025 is so crucial. It allows time for a thorough investigation for both the prosecution and the defense to build their cases and for the truth to hopefully emerge.
It's going to be a long road to that trial date, but in the end, justice needs to prevail, whatever that looks like.
Indeed. And regardless of the outcome, this case will undoubtedly have a lasting impact, not only on Diddy's legacy, but on the entertainment industry as a whole.
This whole situation, it's been a whirlwind. We've got all this information, all these legal battles, these unsettling allegations. It's a lot.
It has been, but it's also been an opportunity, I think, for us to engage in a deeper conversation about power, about accountability, about the complexities of the legal system. And, for that, I think this deep dive has been incredibly valuable.
I agree. It's been a journey, but it's a journey worth taking if it helps us, better understand the world around us. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one takeaway you hope our listeners will walk away with?
That's a great question. I think the key takeaway here is the importance of critical thinking. Don't just accept the headlines at face value,
Yeah.
Dig deeper, question the narratives that are presented to you, and form your own informed opinions.
I love that. Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the Diddy saga and all its implications. Keep those detective minds sharp, and we'll be back soon with another deep dive into a captivating case.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, there's always more to the story.